35 through 41. And it reads, on the same day, when evening had come, he said to them, let us cross over to the other side. Now when they had left the multitude, they took him along in his boat as he was, and the other little boats were also with him. I can appreciate this story being a Navy boy. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat, and so was it already filling. But he was in the stern, talking about Jesus. He was in the stern, asleep on a pillow. And they awoke him and said to him, Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing? Do you not care that we're dying?
Yeah.
Then he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, Peace, be still. And they did cease. And there was a great calm. But he said to them, why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? Thank you for that. And they feared exceedingly, and said to one another, who can this be? Excuse me, King James. What manner of man is this? That the winds and seas obey.
That's right.
Excuse me. I had to say what will wake us up. History tells me at this time they were in a fairly small fishing ship, a fishing boat, equipped with 4 places, Pastor Bowie, spread out for rowers, and then Dash is suggested that the original stipulations during this time, based on the history, that the boats were to be returned unharmed, bearing an act of God, such as a storm. It also tells me that Galilee and the Sea of Galilee, or the body of water that was named Galilee, the history of this shows that they were surrounded by hills and mountains which so easily can funnel storms onto the water. And so storms were not unlikely during this time. They were sudden, and sometimes these storms were very devastating, such as our lives. We have grown up not only around a body of water that sometimes is set out to drown us, but we are also surrounded by mountains that just don't want us to climb them. They don't want us to go around them. And we are surrounded by so many trials, tribulations, so much turmoil, and we get so engulfed in life that when we are trying to transition, when we're trying to move, we get on the first thing smoking, and even the first thing smoking got some hiccups and might not be equipped for the journey. But if we're trying to be like Jesus, we have a few more lessons to learn in this thing. All right, so Jesus was sleeping peacefully in the stern of the ship, and because of this unique situation, it shows and suggests that the stern of the ship was elevated just because of how less likely it was for the stern to fill with water because Jesus was sleeping there. I realized that the first thing that Jesus did was understood that he was already surrounded by mountains and he already knew what was going on in the sea. But the test wasn't for Jesus, and the test wasn't for him to get up and test out his powers to see how the water would be. The test was for those who were his understudies to take control whether Jesus was there or not.
All right.
The power that Jesus has gone through and taught us throughout the history of his life within the time frame of our life is not for us to prove to Jesus that Jesus is real. It's for us to prove to the non-believers that Jesus is real.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Jesus went sleeping peacefully. And he was in a part of the ship that should have flooded. And everybody else was above the flooding part. So when the windstorm came, it raised the waves of the sea. Good God Almighty. I got to get this out now. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. But the water, it said that the water came so quick because the storm came so quick. And I just started remembering how where Samuel grows and matures. This is the correlation that we're going to make. Jesus was asleep, such as Samuel. And when the people called Jesus' name, they called him teacher. They called on the gift. And Jesus did not wake up in a panic talking about what's going on. Jesus woke up while the ship was sinking, and he arose to make sure that where there was a problem, his gift was activated to fix it. Come on, somebody, that's ministry for real. When remaining is called in the midst of turmoil, you should be mature enough to make sure that your gift is able to minister to the situation.
Hallelujah.
And when Jesus got up, Herschel, it's so crazy because Jesus got up from his peaceful sleep and he walked out to the ship and stopped caring about all these people that are complaining and probably got tears in their eyes and they're scared because they think we're in the middle of the ocean and there's no 911 to call. There's nobody to come get. There's no ambulance that's going to get out here to see us. There's nobody that's able to care for my aid. We don't have first aid administrator. So God, we need you. You say that you're really who you say you are. What do you mean if I'm really who God say I am? Have we not spent time together? Jesus walked past all these people having all these conversations of fear, and he went and told the sea to do what he was already doing. He said, peace. Good God Almighty.
Yes.
When peace is at work, you only have to speak a word.
That's it. One word.
Yeah.
A word. One. Come on now.
I'm trying so hard because I'm 4 minutes and 7 seconds over my time. But I'm trying to let you know that when you are who God calls you to be, when you hear your name, you can be asleep but alive and have power and you will be commanded and called and ordained you to do.
Yes, sir.
Better say
When you hear your name, even in your sleep, rise up and have power and take care of the situation. Jesus went out to the storm and he said, I'm not going to talk to the people. I'm not going to talk to the ship. He said, I'm going to talk to the thing that's causing and raising hell in the place that I'm trying to have peace. And he said, I'm going to walk out to the tip of the ship and I'm going to say peace. Be still. And the Bible declares that there was peace.
Yeah.
The Jews understood that only God controls the winds and the waves.
Yeah.
And Jesus was asleep when the winds were strong and the waves were high.
Yeah.
Jesus was called upon. This is what I love. They called on the teacher, but the teacher decided to give them a demonstration.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they call me David. I don't care if my mom calls me son. I don't care if a member calls me pastor. I don't care if my brother calls me brother. But when I hear my name, I know that I have to respond. Using the gift. Me being a son is a gift. Me being a brother is a gift. Me being a pastor is a gift. Me being me is a gift. And when I hear my name, I go to where the anointing is done. And I speak to that thing. And I don't go speaking. And then I do something declare, I am a pastor. I am a prophet. I am a teacher. I go to that thing and say, peace. You won't have no storm here.
Yeah.
One word.
This is what I love most about this. This is our benediction. Now I'm being one of those preachers, right? Been trying to close for the past 10 minutes.
That's all right.
The Jews did not expect for a human being to do what God could only do.
Yes.
All right, teacher. The Jews didn't expect. The Jews understood that only God controlled the winds and the waves. Calm down, David. The Jews understood that only God controlled the winds and the waves. However, the Jews were on the ship with Jesus. as a witness, Jesus heard his name in his sleep. They didn't say Jesus, they didn't say Rabbi, they didn't say Emmanuel, they didn't say prophet, they didn't say Yeshua, they didn't say any of those things. He heard his name, teacher. And he arose because there was something about how his name was called that caused him to get up with all power. And let me tell you this, the reason why he had to get up with power in the ship is because by the time he got to the cross and went down under, and when he rose with power they then gets to think about their experience with the ship. This man is the same man that rose from his sleep and spoke to the winds and seas. And for a minute, I thought that only God, the one that I couldn't see, had the authority to speak to the wind and the sea, and they would obey. But then I had a moment where I had a personal experience with Jesus, and now my life has gone from smooth sailing to complete chaos. Everywhere I go, there is chaos, there's drama, there is so much foolishness going on. My life that I thought was peaceful, the way that I planned it 20 years ago, none of that is going on now. I don't have the job that I thought I would have. I don't have the education that I thought I would have. I'm talking to somebody in this room for just about 3 more minutes. Everything that I planned, how I planned for my life to go, none of that is going on right now, and all I can see is that I am in a little boat that's only equipped for fishing, which means most people fish in good conditions, and now I'm out here in a little fishing boat trying to make it to the other side. I'm in a little fishing boat trying to go across the body of water, and I know that a storm can raise anytime, and it's just my luck that a storm would raise up while I'm trying to get to peace, while I'm trying to get to the other side, while I'm trying to go back to school, while I'm trying to build a church, when I'm trying. It just so happened that a storm would arise in this moment, and the little boat that I could afford is now about to break down because it wasn't built for a storm, it was built for fishing. But let me tell you something, anything that God is in is going to make it. Anything that God is resting in is going to make it. Anything that God is allowing his peace to be still in is going to make it. And it doesn't matter how hard the storm comes. It doesn't matter how fast the storm comes. I don't care if your weatherman told you it's going to be sunshine and rain. If the storm is coming, know that God is in a place where he can arise to any storm and cause it to cease.